Hey Internet, this is Andy, and this is Ike, and this is January 26th, 2024, and this is going to be a little Volvo status update. So I actually got something of value accomplished today. I managed to finally get the that patch panel that I made for the right front rear wheel arch welded in. So basically that guy, I started that several weeks ago where I noticed that there was a rust there, and cut that section out that we'll go to in a second. It's like a, I don't know, 12, 13 inch longer or so section right there on the spot where I think these seem to rust a lot is on the front of the rear wheel arches. So there's like this lap joint there, and right on the front of them on both sides they were rusted pretty badly. So that's what I addressed. That's what I finally got that one section done there. And then I still have, there's a spot on the lower rear wheel arch, and then a small-ish spot there where the rear seat bolts in. So let's take a look. So first off, I'm going to explain the super annoying geometry of that inner rear wheel arch. So looks like this. Okay, so here we have the outside of the car. This is the outside wheel tub, wheel arch thing. So you have the outside of the car here. There's the inner upholstery panel goes on here. So this is obviously the inside of the car. So yeah, and we have this really annoying triple joint here. And this is the exact spot where this area of the inside panel and this whole area here was rusted out. But luckily, the inner support, this part was actually fine. So what I did was I cut the entire rotted area out from there to there, drilled out all of these spot welds. So the replacement geometry looks like this. Okay, so here we have the outside of the car, and I wanted to copy the same geometry arrangement as before, where you had the outside was like the inside was underneath the outside. So I just made this replacement panel that just wedges in there, okay? So that gets spot welded here, spot welded there, spot welded there, and because I'm adding another layer, I had to add this flange. So I had to bend this panel up over to go to there. So that's, oh yeah, and then we have the little hatch things. These guys are spot welds that go all the way through. Now, unfortunately, when I made that patch panel, I didn't bother recording it because I just didn't. So it looks like this. How to make that flange? Well, I don't have a flanger or any sort of sheet metal press type thing, so I did it all by hand. And let's just take a quick look at how I did that. So let's just say we have a patch panel, something like this, and it has a oddly shaped edge, and we want to make a flange on that, and we don't have any flanging tools. So what I did with that one is first we want to mark. Yeah, I know I have a terrible glare in here because of this light up overhead. So anyway, what I did was took a rubber sheet and threw that over anvil or anything hard. Okay. Then I used a dulled, really rounded over chisel to first make this groove. And do it like so. Hammer. Okay, so here is crap. Yeah, so here is step one, makes a groove. Okay, so let me go ahead and expand on this groove a bit more. Okay, good. So now you can see we're getting a sort of a V groove in there. So now we want to bend that outer bit down. And I think I might, yeah, you know what? Give it another round. Okay, nice groove. All right, so now we want to bring that outer lip down. Okay. Okay, so we can see it's sort of just bent like a V. We want to straighten this. So I flip this over and I'm going to go with the chisel on the inside of this, and that'll create that sort of wedge. Well, not wedge, it'll that dog leg, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, so it'll create a dog leg and it'll bend that straight. Okay, and first round, there we go. We're already getting a nice dog leg flange. Okay, and looks all right. I want to hit that again. Let me do one more round here. So that is basically there. So now I'm just going to go and clean this up on the edge of the anvil. Okay. So there. All right. So I'm going to do the inside bit first. You know, I'll use a, doesn't really matter. I'll just use this one here. flat. Not terrible. Not as great as I would have liked, but you know, it's all right. Okay. And then that one was, of course, bent like so we could just bend that by hand. But anyway, so there we are. How to waste around 10 minutes flanging a panel when you don't have the proper tools and you just got to get things done. So, okay, so as you can see, this was just, it's actually pretty decent. Not terrible, and this is just something I just really quickly threw together, and sorry about the light, but yeah, there we are. Surprisingly even. And so we have the other bit that just sticks in there like so there was a quick demo on how I made that, how I made this actual flange patch panel. So the whole, you know, just go ahead, just cut the standard, cut a hole out around the rust, fit this guy in there, make sure to have enough overlap on each side. And then, so right now, the panel, it's held in there with screws. So drilled out all of the holes to like 732, which I find is a nice size. And then it's held in there with sheet metal screws. And I learned that technique of drilling through and then holding the entire thing at every plug weld with screws from John at Vinyl Village Garage, and I will leave a link so that I figure out how to do a link in YouTube to his channel. So thank you, John. That was a really great video, and I'm using your technique. Works great. So anyway, so it's held in there with those screws. I really like that technique because it sucks up the panel all the way. And then if you go and just do each one, the screws hold it tight. You get a really nice tight spot weld, almost as good as the factory high pressure resistance weld. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll show you how that is held in there and start welding that up. And so I'm welding in this patch panel here that I made for the inside of the wheel well. So as you can see, I already have most of those spot welds already welded. So let me just go over this technique that I'm using that I find works really well. Okay, so basically what I have here is I originally had all of these held in with these little sheet metal screws, okay? So that holds the whole thing flat, and then yeah, so let's see, so the outer part, I have the outer panel drilled to 732. I find that size works well. That gives, because as the weld goes in, that, okay, we have a, meow, yes, look what we have here. We have a noisy cat who really shouldn't be out here, okay? Go. Okay, go, okay. So anyway, I find that 732 works well because as the weld goes in there, it does melt a little bit of the outside, so that gives you right around a quarter inch or so, 6.5 millimeter spot going all the way through, which is right about the same as the original factory ones, and it gives a lot of bite. I don't like going bigger because that just makes it just too big. And smaller it's too small. So anyway, so the outer panel is drilled to 732. So what I do is then, let's see, this is bottom one. It should be ready to pop out. Let's see if I can adjust the camera in there a little bit better. The lighting is not great because I have the light shining in there to so I can see when I weld. Not too bad. Ike, go away. You shouldn't be here. Okay. Okay, good. That holds it in there. Okay, so take off the screw, and then probably can't see this, but yeah, so we have the whatever, the small screw hole in here, and that works actually really well because that makes sure that you have a lot of penetration going all the way through. Then, Ike, go. Then, I have this sprayed with weld through primer. You know, I should have used copper, but I just used zinc. Anyway, so I have this little bit that I ground. You can see that the face of it is it's flat. It's completely flat. And then I use this bit to just shave off the weld through primer in here. So then that goes, oops. Okay. So that just ensures that I have a nice clean weld area there. Then I like to hammer this down. That makes sure that the panel is nice and tight. Well, this one is not super great. Yeah, let's see. And then what I find is I always, before I do every one of these spot welds, I always clip that off and have around a 1/2 inch sticking out. I find that if you clip it off, it gives you a lot cleaner weld. It doesn't have that blob trying to melt in there right away, and it's just easier to control. So that one was a little bit poppy. I'm not really sure why. But yeah, if you do this right, you end up having very little crown on this, and they look pretty nice. And that is nice and tight. I'm sure I'm going to block. Looks good. Nice. Yeah, that looks slick. Okay. Yeah, this I'm using like 13.3 volts, 300 inches a minute, and I find this setting on 20 gauge really wets out the puddle and allows it to flow really well. Nice. You you have to go quick on these. You can't let it get away from you. Good. Okay. Okay, so that's these. So I'm gonna put a back. So you probably can't see, but I got a couple. I drilled a hole in the wrong spot, and I got a pretty big gap there. So I'm gonna put an aluminum backer there, and then probably here. Okay. Okay, so this patch panel is done, and I think it looks pretty decent. Okay, so here I went ahead and I left all these spot welds. I just went ahead and left them just because they did turn out really well. Most of these have very, very little crown, maybe like a 32nd or so. Some maybe a little, maybe about a millimeter or so of crown. That's the worst one. You know, a couple of these I did that one was kind of crowned up just because I kind of messed that one up. So I did grind the top of that one off, and I ground the top of that one off, but the rest of the spots look really good. I stitch welded this panel to here. I did run the grinder. What did I use? I used this guy worked really well. This is a 40 grit disc on a 2-inch what do you call it, backing, and that does work well. Give it some flex. So anyway, yeah, that's where I tacked that to here, and it's a little bit boogered up, but you know what, this will all be covered up with chip guard, stone guard. So anyway, that stitch welded there. This was all stitch welded, or butt welded from there to there, so that's in there tight. Okay, so let's take a look on the inside. Okay, inside, yeah, I covered this with this fiberglass welding blanket to keep any sparks out, and I think I mentioned this before, but what else I did is I covered all of the inside glass with tarp, just to make sure that there can be no stray sparks or any other stuff to get there and muck up the glass. So okay, so looking at this, so this, my opinion, this looks really good. So because the holes, because the screw holes go all the way through, this guarantees you get full penetration. What I really like is how super consistent the spot weld size is. So I got a ruler here somewhere. here. There it is. Okay, so this gives me each of the spots is oh nice, yeah, so that gives us right around 5 millimeter really consistent about 5 to 6 millimeter spot diameter, so right around a little under a 1/4 inch. So yeah, that looks, and they're all super consistent, so really like how this turned out. Then let's see, inside here, yeah, there, so yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is inside, so yeah, that looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna try and scuff up the inside, clean that off, and give that a coat of epoxy primer from both sides. Oh yeah, so I still need to do these rail things. So these things were a massive pain. On the, I think these are probably 1800 ES only things, but these are they're these rails that were welded on the wheel tub here. So they just sort of, they're welded onto the tub here, like sort of so. And then there's like I don't know, about a 1/4 inch or so of gap between the wall and this rail thingy. And yeah, so what these do is these hold the rear there's this rear carpet that goes in this area here. So you got the seats, and then you got this little side trim carpet thing, and then the carpet has this little plastic lip thing that catches on this lip. Anyway, so these were welded in with these series of these welds like so. And then unfortunately the rusted area was underneath these little rails, so I had to cut them out. I tried cutting these out without destroying them, but I ended up bending them pretty badly. But yeah, there were these like here, yeah, I think there was like 5 or 6 spots where they were just welded, and then there was just no way to get a grinder in there to try and cut through it, so I ended up just messing this up. So I tried straightening this out, and it just isn't. So what I'll have to do is make a cardboard pattern of this rear wheel tub, and then cut a couple new ones of these rail things out, and then weld them in. I mean, yeah, they're like 16 gauge, I think. I mean, they're thicker than the 20 gauge. Yeah, they're like 16 gauge. So yeah, I'll have to make those. But yeah, they were just such a pain to try and get a grinder into these welds and then try and remove it. So yeah, so that's basically the inside. I still need to, this side where the rear bracket is was a lot better than the other side, but there is still some rust, so I'll have to address that from the outside. But yeah, looks good. So just clean this off and get going on it. Okay, well, that basically wraps it up. So finally getting some progress in here. The heater that I installed works really well. So that actually makes it totally pleasant and tolerable to work in here and actually get some stuff done. So guys, stuck with me. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. And if you like these, just let me know. And just please let me know what kind of, if you have any questions about the techniques I'm using, or if you want me to cover some other areas, let me know, okay? Really helps me to sort of know what kind of stuff to talk about rather than just me yapping and babbling here. So, okay, well, thanks all, and see you next time.